Let's talk All the Queen's Men, season 4, episode 10, blow the whistle, okay? I must say that episode 10 was much better than episode 9, okay? We get a little bit deeper into things. And I was loving the music that they were playing in this episode when the guys were dancing, okay? But anyway, before I get into my full recap, let me introduce myself if you're new here. My name is Brandi, and I realize that you could be on any channel in the world, but you're right here with me, and I really do appreciate that. So go ahead and like this video, and also subscribe to my channel if you do like watching TV show reviews and also movie reviews. Now, although this episode was better than episode 9, I do have one complaint, right? Unpopular opinion, I'm not sure, but those dance scenes be too long. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the choreography and seeing the dancers, but dang, those scenes be so long. Sometimes I honestly have to fast forward through those parts. But anyway, that aside, right, episode 10 kicks off with Madam in trial, and they're bringing another witness up. Well, not another witness. This is actually the first one, and his name is Frank Wilmot. And Madam's like, who the hell is this? Like, she don't even know who he is, right? She don't even remember, right? But Frank Wilmot is accusing Madam of kidnapping him and having him sodomized, and that she videotaped it all, according to him, right? And mind you, this is Lola's husband, right? From a few seasons back, actually, right? But anyway, right? He tells the prosecution that he would recognize Madam's voice anywhere. Although he was blindfolded and he didn't actually see her, he would recognize her voice. So they require that Madam and her lawyer submit her voice saying the things that Frank Wilmot is claiming that she said, right? So we see a few scenes later that Madam submits her voice, and ultimately Frank Wilmot does identify her as the one who kidnapped and sodomized him, right? He recognizes the voice, right? Which was a little bit unfair because they let Frank Wilmot pick her voice out of a lineup per se, right? They had other women record their voices too, and he actually chose the right one. He chose Madam, but the other voices were of like Caucasian women, right? That sounded nothing like Madam whatsoever, okay? So I guess for right now, that's 1 point for the prosecution. Now let's move right along to Babyface. Guys, Babyface is going out sad. He really is, right? In this episode, Tandy gave him a piece of her mind, right? She came downstairs. Mind you, they live together, right? She came downstairs and he's sleeping on the couch. And she's like, you slept down here all night? And he's like, well, I wasn't going to sleep upstairs on them nasty ass sheets, right? Because she was actually hunching his son the night before in their bed. But Tandy had to remind him, like, listen, that is not our bed. That is my bed. You don't have to pay rent. You're not wanting for anything. So if I want to F the whole world, I can F the whole world in my bed, right? So Miss Tandy had to read him his rights. And I just don't understand why any grown man will want to be in that position. Yes, Miss Tandy got bread. She got money. But why would you want to be under her thumb like that? Like, I would hate to be controlled like that as a grown-ass man, right? So Babyface is just going out sad, right? We also see later on in this episode, him getting into a fight with his son Quincy, right? And Quincy got the best of him, right? Babyface's knee even blew out, right? His knee blew out, right? They got into a fight. And now Babyface can't perform the solo that he was scheduled to perform that night at Club Eden, right? So he's trying to tell Madam what happened in her office, and she's like, oh, you snitching now? Like you basically snitching on your son, right? So Madam ends up giving the solo that night to Quincy. Oh my God, what a big gag, right? It's like Babyface is getting just all of this karma coming to him that he deserves. Now, Diamond and Amp, we are still going in circles with their storyline, right? She's having a fit over him eating her shrimp fried rice, right? And she's just very hormonal, so she's going off, right? But again, nobody is saying, hey, you need to take a pregnancy test, right? In fact, later on in the episode, Blue is having a conversation with Dime, and she mentions that she notices that Dime is going to the bathroom a lot, and she's eating a lot of snacks, right? And again, but nobody's actually coming out and saying the word pregnant or pregnancy test. Like, come on. We really got to get out of this circle and move Dime and Amp's story along. Now we see Lola. She comes up to the club to talk to Blue, saying that she has information, right? And she tips Blue off that Trouble is going to testify against Madam, right? Mind you, Lola is really trying to play the fence, and she's definitely going to get herself killed, right? She was just in there spraying luminol, right? And she's actually told the police, Detective Davis and them, what happened. And that's the reason the police are on the way to search Eden, because of Lola. But she's still playing games, trying to act like she's on Madam's side, right? But she's definitely going to get killed, okay? Which we find out a little bit later on, right? So the cops come. They raid Eden, and they specifically check the kill room in the basement, right? They sprayed luminol, right? But they don't see any blood like Lola told them that they would, right? But come to find out, Blue finally did something right, right? Blue used to always do things right, right? Just want to give her credit. But lately she's been slipping, right? But Blue, what she did was she had the first layer of the walls replaced. She just had the drywall replaced, right? So when they sprayed the walls with luminol this time, they didn't see any blood, okay? Because the walls were replaced, right? So good job, Blue. That's what we need to see you doing, right? But anyway, they mentioned that they're going to take Lola out right after she testifies, okay? Because she's next up to testify within the next day or two, so they can't do nothing immediately, but they are going to do something right away, sooner than later, right? But one way Blue did mess up, right? Although she did get a point for dealing with that blood issue in the basement, right? Is that she couldn't get a hold of Trouble, right? So mind you, Lola, she told her Trouble's testifying, right? Madam tells her, listen, bring Trouble to me. You got to go find her. But Blue gives Madam an update that's not really an update. She says, listen, I'm not going to be able to get to Trouble before, she has her security detail take her into witness protection, right? So that's a big fail. So it seems like Trouble may have a slight chance of getting away, but Madam did say that she would handle it on her own. So maybe Madam will find a way to get to Trouble before she gets into witness protection. But mind you, again, I do not want to see Trouble die yet. Like, at least let us get a few more episodes of Trouble, because Trouble is so entertaining to watch. So now let's move on to Midnight. Midnight is getting on my damn nerves because he is being stupid, okay? Midnight meets up with Renee. Renee told him to meet her at a hotel, right? Mind you, he agreed to go through with the role play thing of SAing her, right? She wants him to get very aggressive, choke her, pretend that he's SAing her, slap her around. She even specifically said, make sure you spit on me, like spit on me, right? Which I think is all a setup, right? She just wants to make sure she gets that DNA, right? But not only that, right? So Midnight, he shows up. He does the job, right? Pretending to essay her, right? But it's a camera propped up right there. Now, not a camera, but the phone camera is popped up right there on the lamp. And I'm like, Midnight, do you not see that? And not only that she had the camera propped up, but Midnight, why weren't you recording any of these calls ahead of time, right? A lot of people get in trouble for doing things like that. So why wouldn't you CYA, cover your ass, man, record this girl having these conversations with you, or have her sign some type of contract or something, right? Because this is nothing to be playing around with. Again, especially with what Madam is going through. Like, these cops are planting people left and right to try to take Madam's empire down, right? And this is exactly what we see is going to happen with Midnight. He's going to go to jail because of this Renee. She has it all on videotape, right? But I'm wondering, is she going to edit the end of the tape? Because she kept the camera rolling after the whole performance, right? So I guess she's going to edit it, clip it, whatever. But anyway, we're going to see Midnight going down, and it's because of his own foolishness, unfortunately. Now, something that I really can't remember what their plot was, but we see Tony, Am's mom, come up to the club, right? And she says she's just there to support his son, which is really weird. Like, why would you want to see your son dance as an exotic dancer at a strip club? Like, super weird, right? But Madam is clocking it too, like wondering what she's doing up there, right? So I don't know if Tony was recording something, because she took out her phone right after conversation with Madam. But I can't remember what Gene and Tony's plot was to actually take over Club Eden. So I might have to go back a few episodes just to make sure I didn't miss anything, right? Did they tell us their plan? Like, what's their plan? What's their end game here, right? But they just look weak. Let me tell you, right? It just looks like Gene and Tony are going to fail miserably. Now, y'all boy Al Fuego is spiraling, right? He is so stricken with grief. He is so sad, right? He feels so guilty for Sandra's death, right? And he's vowing, he's promising, right? He had a whole little monologue he did. Like, he's promising to get revenge and to get justice for her, right? So he has a conversation with Big D outside the club, right? And he's telling Big D, like, nah, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. I'm gonna find out what happened. And Big D is like, well, you're not gonna do it alone, man. Let me know when you're gonna do it, and I got your back, man. I'm gonna ride out with you, right? Which I don't know if it's a good idea. Like why would Big D just offer to help Fuego? You know what I mean? Mind you, Big D used to work with the cops, right? I do like Big D. I love his character. I think he a real one now. It's just that I think El Fuego, if he has a plan conjured up in his head already, why involve somebody else in it? Like, do your dirt by yourself, Fuego. Don't get caught, right? And just to have another person involved in a scheme could really be his downfall. But nonetheless, this episode was good. It was good. Like, it's heating up a little bit, right? But I still don't think Madam is going to end up in jail. Like, where would the series go if Madam ends up in jail? Like, I gave my prediction on my trailer reaction. If she does go to jail, it's going to be for such a short period of time, right? And if they really did have something serious on her, like, she would be in jail already. Like, she would be going to trial like the way Diddy was going to trial, right? The way we see people with serious cases, like, they're locked up at trial, right? She's free. She goes home after trial. So I just think Madam is going to get off. Maybe not scot-free, but she definitely going to win this one, all right? But turn your notifications on for the next recap. Make sure you like this video and let me know what other shows you're watching, guys. See you guys on the next video. Peace.